Like to introduce him?
I introduce you Franco Leoni, a friend and a former colleague from MIB 8. We attended the same class. He's an entrepreneur, a very talented one. He's owner of Polonord Adeste and another couple of businesses. He has a subsidiary in Hong Kong. He employing over 30 people in his companies, and he started from zero. He had a good idea starting from the technology and software business, and he's also a member of the Alumni Association and the Members Association. So it's yours.
Okay. Thank you. Dear guests, dear students, as my name is Franco Leoni, and I got my MBA diploma from MIB School of Management, that in my opinion is the best MBA in Italy more than 10 years ago. And it's always an honor to be back here. I am a first-generation entrepreneur. I have founded many companies, and my actual core business is flash memory. My company, Polonord Adeste, and the Asian branch, the production Asian branch, is the largest producer of promotional and industrial flash drives memory in Italy. Well, promotional. We do things like this. This is a jumbo-on USB. This is a remote control USB. This is a Pucca USB. Yes, we are #1 for promotional items on USB flash drive. If you need to announce your brand, there is nothing like a customized USB flash drive that speaks for your brand. But we also do flash drives for the industry, and this is even bigger, and it is a very nice and profitable niche that needs a lot of expertise. Well, basically, it means that we can program those kind of things so that the data we put inside can interact with something else, like a computer, or a black box, or a software in the cloud. I will give you some example. You want to sell a software on a USB. We can protect it. We can protect it against being erased, against being copied, against access. We can serialize it. We can even let you update it remotely. So if you need to deliver something on a physical data storage unit to your customer, to the public, or to any stakeholder it may be, you may think of me. Okay, well, this is the third time I've spoken here at MIB School of Management. The first one was in 2007 during a seminar on the Far East. And on that occasion, I talked about my business interests in Hong Kong, China, and Japan. The second one was when I was honored with the MIB Alumni Award in 2008. And on that occasion, I talked about how I started my companies. So, well, those speeches are on YouTube. And so I thought that this time, in order to answer to the questions, I will just talk about my attitude, which I will do by describing a week in my business and life. That is actually quite easy, because my life, it's almost quite everything in my life is recorded, in my emails, files, chat history, on my several computers, smartphone, iPad, notebook, in the social networks, and all the cloud computing that is around me. Okay, Monday. My life and my job are not strictly separated. I really love what I'm doing, and so I cannot say there is a time dedicated to job and a time dedicated to all the rest, but it's all mixed. So I wake up at around 7:30 in the morning, I have a breakfast, a shower, and in the meantime, I keep an eye on messages on my BlackBerry. that includes 8 email accounts, instant messaging like Skype, Yahoo Messenger, and MSN, and social networks like Facebook, Skype, and LinkedIn. No, sorry, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Well, my virtual life is quite fluid. From time to time I add new things or delete old ones. I like trying new technologies, but I discard them fast if I don't find them useful. Okay, this morning I've got 46 unread messages. That is quite standard. Some day can be in excess of 100, but usually it is between 30 and 60. One nice thing on the BlackBerry is that I can delete them in blocks, and as a matter of fact, I delete the most of them without reading anything more than the subject line. That I think is something very common to all of us. Rarely I keep more than 10, and today is just 3. The first one is from a business friend from Israel, who is informing me of some result that is having with a new technology that he is testing. We have been friends since many years and cooperating since we first met in 2005 at a conference in Las Vegas, and we exchanged a lot of information. The second one is from my forwarder that informs me that there may be a certification problem for a containers of good that is supposed to leave Yantian, Yantian is near Hong Kong, the next week. This one needs immediate action, and so I send a message from my iPad. The third one is from a friend from the MIB alumni community that, well, honestly speaking, I barely remember because I'm a so-called open networker. If you ask for friendship, I will give you friendship. Well, he's writing me directly and asking me for a personal favor. I think there is nothing wrong with that. I've done the same many times. And if I have time, I'm really happy to help. Because often, helping is the beginning of something. The first things that happened today in my office is I get a phone call from my Hong Kong CPA that is asking me for the data for the closing, for the balance sheet and income statement for the 2010 audit. And so I send a Skype message to Anna Maria and I explain her what she has to do. Well, in the afternoon, I'm at a conference held by Generali in the center of Bologna. Okay, I confess that I don't really like attending conferences. It's probably unfair to say this at a conference, but a business friend of mine asked me to be there. And, well, the subject may be interesting, even if I know that not all the speakers will talk about things I have a personal interest. Well, I think that in cases like this, an iPad connected to the internet is what I call an anti-hijacking device. Because, you know, there are often moments in a day that you have to attend something or just wait for someone. And there is a lot of downtime in that. And I hate losing time. But the good news is that thanks to technology, I'm a second away from 99% of my business at every single moment. And that increases productivity in a terrific way. Well, you may think I'm a geek. Well, I am. Let's say a sort of. But I can be very old-fashioned too. This is a nice one. And I recognize that there is nothing in business like a very well-placed phone call, or even better, a face-to-face meeting. But in my opinion, this is just for when you need to transfer an emotion that could be really useful for big deals or really big problems, or for political or relational matters that are really important. But for all the rest, they are time-consuming and full of downtime, and I skip them as much as I can. Well, you know, in business, what is written has more value than what is spoken. And so when I deal with people from China, the US, Japan, Russia, Australia, wherever, I like the most of the conversation to be written and fast. So what I like most is instant messaging. I keep 3 or 4, let's say, instant messaging at the same time on my computer as usual. Well, as usual, the day ends with a round of phone calls to my associates if I haven't met them personally during the day. Tuesday. I spend the whole day with a friend of mine who is the CEO of a small programming firm. We are doing the analysis of a custom-made ERP that I'm going to implement in my flash memory company. A lot of practical things I can delegate. And I delegate both important and basic things. Well, by basic things, I mean stuff like photocopying, filing, holding the line in phone calls. But I remember being an employee myself, and I couldn't really understand why my colleague's boss couldn't do them himself, just seemed bossy. Because, you know, well, you can end up with things like, hello, I'm the secretary of Mr. Even better. Hello, I'm the secretary of Dr. Leoni. I called you because Mr. Dr. Leoni would like to talk with you. Can you please hold? And this is not actually really my style. But it comes to a point, sometimes, that you really need to save as much of your time as you can. And so you need to have people that helps you, even with those basic things. Well, as I said, I also delegate all the important things that I can, but there are some that I usually don't. One is something that I really like, and it is supervising big negotiation and getting personally involved in the most important details. Well, in negotiation, I usually start with very high requests, even if I know that it's highly unlikely that the other party would go along with it, and sometimes they don't. But my attitude is that it doesn't hurt to ask. Another one I do not delegate is strategy. Well, I think that when it comes to make a smart strategic decision, the most distinguished planning committee working with the highest priced consultant, I think that they doesn't hold a candle for a group of guys with their own money on the line and a reasonable amount of common sense that also come from an excellent education like the one from MIB. And here I am referring to my excellent associates. Having good business partners is everything for me. I try to have the best people as partner and involve them in the venture, so the money they get is based on their performance. It's merit versus birthright. Okay. In the evening, I'm at the dinner with a group of friends from young entrepreneurs of Confindustria. It's a very nice, easygoing group of people, and I like spending my time with them. We exchange a lot of our best practice, sometimes do business together, and we have a lot of fun. Wednesday. I feel bad. This seldom happens, but well, having 3 baby girls in my house that they can't avoid hugging and kissing means that sometimes they pass on some of the diseases that they get at school to me. Well, Rahm Emanuel, the chief of staff of President Obama, said, "You never want a serious crisis to go to waste." Well, I say, I never want a illness to go to waste. On days like this, I have a lot of quiet at home. That is something really unusual. Everyone that has children, I think it can understand me perfectly. And so I can focus and refocus. And, day-by-day urgencies are making a buzz in my mind. Even if I try to follow the key points, it's always a problem. So I check my Google Calendar of the day. Luckily, nothing really important. And I send a message to Sylvia, and I ask her to inform my staff of my absence and to reschedule my meetings. Then, while keeping my computer on, I start browsing, checking competitors on the internet around the world, writing checklists, readjusting the order of the list based on priorities. So it is a full day of planning, lying on my bed with just 3 phone calls. One from one of my associates, one from one of my business partners, and one from my wife that is calling to see if I'm still alive. Thursday. Feeling better, well, I can't stay here too much, so back in the office. We got a situation. There is a very big important order of USB in production. It is for a very big important client that has a big event next Monday. Elisa tells me that the goods that were supposed to be here tomorrow are still in Shenzhen. Shenzhen is near Hong Kong, which clearly means there is no way we can get them in time. Okay, before investigating how is that possible, priority is to find a solution. We could ask the customer to switch to a similar product, or we could just tell him that we cannot deliver. But this would not make the client happy. So I asked Pamela to make a round of phone calls to my contacts in Europe and find out if they have the equivalent product. And she finds some in the UK. So well, the situation seems fixed. The goods will be printed in the UK, then we'll leave by FedEx and be here tomorrow. I confirm. I ask Anna to release the funds, and they tell Pamela, please keep me informed every hour on the state of the order and give me the tracking number as soon as it's available. At 4:30 p.m., she informs me that the folks from the UK have told her that the printing machine got broken, so they haven't printed them, and for some unspecified reason, they couldn't even send them unprinted. How this is possible? Well, they can't do this to us. So I say, push hard. Nothing. So I pick up the phone, I call directly the boss of the UK company, which I know personally, and I start pushing him. After 2 minutes, I understand that I'm getting nowhere. So well, my attitude is, I'll do my best, I won't give up, but if it doesn't work, then I have to move on to the next thing. And it's clear to my mind that the only way to get the goods in time is to go to the UK and pick them. So I ask Luca to come to my desk, and I inform him that he has to fly to London, he will have a car there, then he has to go to the factory, pick the goods, be back here on Saturday morning. Then I tell Kazim and Alessandro that they need them here on Saturday morning too, to process the goods arrival. I ask Silvia to book hotel, car and fly, and I give an iPhone to Luca so we can stay in touch while he is in England. On Saturday morning, when he will be back, he will also tell me some really interesting things. You always have to learn from your competitors around the world. You really got to know your market. And of course, as you may have noticed, you really need to have excellent people that work for you. That's what makes all the difference. Friday. Well, we have a big open plan office space, and I hear one of my employees give me an instinctively bad answer. I know that he is a good employee, I know that he has a bad feeling about me, but I stop it firmly and immediately. I respect my staff, and I need their respect too. If they are not going to respect you, you better give it up, go out, and find a 9-to-5 job. It's over. Well, I'm always very friendly. There is just a glass wall in the open space. I spend my time mostly in the open plan office space. There is just a glass wall between my people and me. It is opening on the two sides. But I tell you, well, the story is always the same. I have many companies, some with more direct involvement, some with less. You need to be friendly, always respect your staff. You need to be a good leader. And a great leader is someone that can also follow, at least to a certain extent. But from time to time, not so often, well, I can say once every 3 years, there is someone that is making problem to the company. And if I think there may be some sabotage from within, I find the people responsible and I get rid of them quickly. But anyway, this was absolutely not the case. Then I have a meeting with the head of sales. He informs me about state of budget, state of project, some requests from his staff, some proposal about small changes in people roles, the result of an hiring process that is underway, and I inform him about my proceeding on the ERP planning and my proceeding on some product development that I'm personally following, and of course I can't say more about. I like my meeting to be quickly and up to the point. In about 30 minutes, it's all done. I have then some other issue to plan in my other company, so I drive my car and I have a full half day of meeting and planning with my staff and employees. And when I go back home, it's about 10 p.m. During the afternoon, I exchanged a lot of instant messaging with Luca, who is in the UK. The goods are finally in his hand and everything is going okay. Well, it's Friday night. Weather forecasts say full sun for the weekend. But I still have something to do. So on Saturday morning, I go back to the company. I want to be there with Luca, who has just returned, and with Alessandro and Kazim that are processing the goods in our factory right now. That was a tough one. I want to show up and congratulate them on a job well done. It's about 12. I go back home, pick up my family, and we will spend the rest of the weekend on my sailing boat. I really like sailing. Made a lot of good friends sailing, many entrepreneurs. And, well, Federico, who is here, came with me the day of negotiation. I bought a sailing boat 4 years ago in Croatia. He's a great entrepreneur too. I've done the MIB 8 with me and Katia. Well, as I say, I see it as an investment also. First for my peace of mind, because I really like it, but also because of the relationship I've developed as a result. Okay. As you may have noticed, I really love what I do. I put a lot of passion. So my suggestion is that you got to love it, you got to be creative, you have got to be innovative, you got to think outside the box to be able to come up with fresh new ideas. But more than everything else, action speaks louder than words. I'm a firm believer in that. It's about delivering the victory. You've got to make it happen and never be satisfied. Well, before leaving the stage to the next speaker, I want to show you a cut of 2.5 minutes of a video that I recently found in my parents' house. It's a part of my presentation interview to the class at MIB School of Management in 1997. That day, I was asked what I wanted to do with my life, the big question. And I got a very precious advice from the dean of this school, Vladimir Nanut. Let's see it.
Dove vuoi arrivare allora? Perché fai il libro? Dove vuoi arrivare? Ci ho detto sì, ho fatto la pizzeria a Bratislava.
Beh, l'idea di fare l'imprenditore sta spostata molto in là, nel senso, se succederà verso 45-50 anni. Troppo tardi.
Sa perché gli ho detto il discorso dell'imprenditore 45-50? Sì. Perché in genere una delle caratteristiche dell'imprenditore è la propensione al rischio. Allora è difficile che questa aumenti col passare degli anni, per cui normalmente sui 45-50 uno comincia a tirare, diciamo, le fila e a chiudere piuttosto che aprire soprattutto se non l'ha fatto prima. Quindi questo era solo una considerazione statistica, non vuol dire, perché non è un problema intellettuale, anche a 80 uno lo può fare intellettualmente, però a meno, proprio perché la proiezione sul futuro per fare l'imprenditore occorre avere un lungo tempo davanti, perché certamente se no diciamo, può essere una prospettiva riduttiva se ho poco tempo davanti. Quindi solo per questa ragione io spero che chi abbia voglia di fare l'imprenditore di una scelta molto bella lo faccia prima, dopo che si è fatto un po' le ossa certamente, però non guarderei in un periodo così lungo, adesso ve l'ha detto così, diciamo, certo, ma voglio dire che probabilmente queste cose accadono un po' prima, ed è giusto che accadano prima perché accadono nel momento in cui uno è pieno delle forze e ha una proiezione ancora abbastanza lunga, perché l'avviamento non è breve per fare il
forse è la completa incompetenza che mi spinge a vederlo così lontano, magari poi...
No, ma siamo qui anche per ragionare, cioè in effetti era così una considerazione
no, se fosse possibile,
per traguardare, diciamo così,
se mi sentissi in grado di farlo prima lo farei volentieri,
visti i tempi di reazione che invece
Well, the story is, I graduated from MIB on October 98, and after 1 year as an employee, I started my first company on November 99. Well, I think that not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. So can I ask a question to the public? Who wants to be an entrepreneur? Okay. Come on. Someone else who wants to be an entrepreneur? Okay. It's okay. Not everyone. But if this is your dream, my advice is to take the same lesson that the dean of the school gave me. Don't wait too long. Go and get it. Thank you.